Check out these 5 scales that you'll be learning in this video. These scales are used a lot of the time with labels such as TRYBESof, All Day I Dream, and artists like Lee Burridge, Lost Desert, Tim Green, Double Touch, organic house artists. These scales are great for genres like deep house, organic house, and the subgenre desert house, which essentially just means that it's music that is influenced by the Middle East or Africa or even Asia. I'll do my best at making this super simple, so even if you have no music theory background, you'll be able to follow along pretty easily. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get more videos like this one. Basically, all you need to know before we get started is that a scale is a set of notes. This combination of notes creates a scale or a key of a track, and you can use the notes in the scale to create melodies in your songs so that they stay within the same key. Of course, there's lots of exceptions to this, but basically a scale is the notes that you're going to use to create a melody. When moving from one note to a note directly next to it, no matter which note, it is considered a half step or a semitone. So from C to C sharp or from D flat to D, it is considered a semitone or a half step. 2 semitones or 2 keys is going to be a whole step or a tone. Each scale has a sequence of notes that it follows, which makes up that scale. Whichever note you start with and come back to is your root note, and that's going to be the first note of the scale. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, first I'm going to start with the Persian or the Middle Eastern scale. This is how it sounds in an arpeggio. I'll be using C for all of these examples to make it really easy. The sequence of the Persian scale is half step, a whole and a half, 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 whole, a whole and a half, and then a half. Starting on C, we have C, D flat, E, F, G flat, A flat, B, and then C. Ableton shows these notes as sharps, but they are technically also flats in this scale. So if we go down from the note where it says sharp, it is actually the D flat, which is also considered a C sharp. It's a little confusing, especially if you're new to music theory, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Just consider the sharps and flats to be kind of interchangeable for this example. So now that I have my scale laid out for me, I can actually copy this and push it behind the MIDI clip so that I can write out my own melody. But select this whole area and I can just push back on the arrow key once, and that will bring it before the actual MIDI clip. So if I go into the MIDI, you can't see it there, but it is over behind. So when I press play, it's not actually going to play those notes. Now I can copy and paste this, push it down a full octave and move it back over. And now I have the fold button, and any of the notes that I play here are going to be in that scale. This is a great way to write melodies because as the track is playing, you can just write out your own melodies without worrying about hitting the wrong notes. Now you can take a listen to the melody that I wrote using this method. Number 2 is going to be the double harmonic scale, otherwise known as the Arabic scale. We can actually take the first scale, the Persian scale, and move up the 5th note 1 half step to get us this double harmonic scale. So we move that G flat to the G. Sounds a little bit more Middle Eastern. This formula goes root note C, half step, whole and a half step, whole step, half step, whole and a half, and then back to the root note with a half step. Following that same idea, I was able to make a melody using the scale pushed over to the left and drawing out my melody. Remember, you can download this project file in the link in the description below. So if you like these melodies and these ideas, grab the sample packs, the presets, the entire project so you can learn and make your own tracks from this template. Number 3 is going to be the Egyptian scale. So this scale actually doesn't sound very Egyptian. To me, it sounds like the least Middle Eastern or African out of the whole video. It's actually more of a happy, uplifting vibe, which is why I wanted to include it, because it gives more of a day vibe style than that sort of desert vibe. To make this scale, again, starting on C, we will go up a whole note to D, a whole and a half to F, a whole note to G, a whole and a half to B flat, and then a whole note to C. So this scale only has 5 notes. It's actually a pentatonic scale. The other scales we're using are a septatonic scale, which means they have 7, but this only has 5. Now hearing it in the context of the track. So again, this one is definitely more like an All Day I Dream day vibe, where it's not actually sounding Middle Eastern or African, but it does have that vibe of more of an uplifting energy, which is why I wanted to include it in the video. Number 4 is going to be the Harmonic Minor scale. You're probably using minor scales. A lot of electronic music is in the minor scale. A lot of the time when referencing minor scales, we're referring to the natural minor scale. The natural minor scale goes whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. The harmonic minor is all the same except the 7th note is up 1 more half step. We start by counting on the root note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We move up 1 more semitone. This becomes our harmonic minor scale. Very Middle Eastern sounding, great for this genre. Little side note, I am offering coaching and I do have music production courses. So if you're looking to learn how to produce music fast, check out the description below and click on those links. Number 5 is the Phrygian Dominant scale, which is the 5th mode of the harmonic minor scale. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It's also called the Phrygian scale. I think I'm saying that right. Phrygian, like a frag grenade. For the Phrygian Dominant scale, we follow the path of half step, whole and a half step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Or C, D flat, E, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. If you want to learn how to make more organic house or deep house music, check out one of the videos right here where I teach you how to make music like certain artists.